What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. SoundHound had their earnings after hours on Thursday, so I want to go over some of the highlights from that and why shorts felt justified to double down on Friday. So I want to go over everything that you need to know, but first make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, SoundHound did go down 6.53% on Friday. A lot of volatility, so 483 the low, 531 the high. So clearly, some entities really did like SoundHound's earnings and didn't really feel that this pullback was justified. Kind of short-lived, but again, I'm going to go over the technicals and everything that you need to know. There was a good amount of volume, so 38.5 million shares being traded, 31.3 is the average. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. So 2.51 million and then 2.08 million were some big ones. Aside from that, relatively kind of normal stuff, so nothing really irregular or whatever. Majority of the volume though was coming from shorts on Friday, so I'm going to go over that in a second. When it comes to their earnings, they did have some pretty good growth. I got to give them that because it's very resemblant just based on this, that they kind of hit all the marks for the most part. So when it comes down to leading into their earnings, there was a significant run up. And so there was some FOMO causing it to go up like 20+% on Thursday, right? But like obviously encumbering their earnings, the market is very fickle and very, very kind of picky. So if you did miss on one metric, then yes, you are going to get hit quite hard. And so they did actually beat on earnings per share as well as revenue. So that was definitely a good thing, kind of justifying why it went up. And this is why you did see right here, as soon as they unveiled their earnings, it went up because a lot of the key metrics were obviously hits, right? But one thing that, and most likely the only thing that really caused SoundHound to pull back was their future guidance. So they did cite that they estimate for the end of 2024 to kind of earn for revenue 80 million. And so far, analyst expectations is 81 million. So it's one of those kind of fickle, kind of crappy things, the fact that it's a minor kind of reduction on expectations. And so that's, in my opinion, alongside just, I guess, the unjustified run from Thursday, those were the two attributing factors what really caused SoundHound to go down. I really liked their earnings. There was a lot of good things. They're having a lot of good growth. And keep in mind, just going over here, so like I said, that 80 million is what they did forecast. That's like a 70% year-over-year growth, right? Because looking at the earnings estimates on an annual basis, they right now 81.81 million is that estimate that's based on 5 analysts. So that in among itself does represent a 78.33% upside on the revenue. So it's a very minor miss, in my opinion, that doesn't justify anything. So I think in reality, it was just shorts just kind of taking advantage of the scenario, of the grayness. And yeah, so I think ultimately that's what happened with SoundHound. I do feel based on the technicals, what happened on Thursday really helped to get it to kind of the next level. So I'm going to go over that in a second. But like I said, I think in general, looking on a quarterly basis, you are seeing a lot of good double-digit growth all the way up until Q4 2025. Even when it comes to the revenue, you do see a lot of good growth. So already for Q3, 75% is anticipated, then 95, 122, and 127. So some analysts have already started to adjust forward estimates, and this is something that I did say on my kind of video roughly like a week ago, that if their earnings were better than anticipated, which on earnings per share and revenue it was, this is what would cause a more of a ripple effect across future earnings. So definitely there's a lot of good growth in SoundHound's future. So let me know your thoughts on that. But like I did mention, shorts felt justified to increase 2.52 million shares. Keep in mind that is net. So after everything, right? So 27.34% of the free float is being shorted. So that is officially all-time high short interest numbers for SoundHound. Works out to be 78.48 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 11.97. And then short score, so the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is sitting at 76.63 of 100. So definitely a unique circumstance. I've said time and time again that SoundHound is a hybrid stock, so it's a momentum play, which I definitely do feel that this is lagging, because for a momentum play you need a lot of capital getting in. SoundHound's not really getting that, at least to the same degree as it once was. But at the same time, it's also an AI play and also a squeeze stock. So based on what happened on Thursday as well as Friday, it's actually helping the technicals. So quickly popping over here. So with it closing at $4.87, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So 512 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. And that's obviously why it did bounce off of that general area. Just wasn't really enough institutional buying to keep it above that point. So again, that's kind of one of the things that you need to watch for into the next following trading days. So come Monday and Tuesday. And then 412 is going to be the next strong support, which in my opinion isn't going to be touched for at least a foreseeable future unless something crazy and dramatic does happen in the market. But luckily enough, because of what happened on Thursday, it propelled it above that 50-day moving average. And in general, especially in SoundHound's case, that is a very key pivot and usually does result in at least a 20% kind of return just based on that. So in general, the fact that on Friday it did bounce also off of this 100-day moving average and kind of sat there, I think that's also very good for the technicals. So I think in general, this upcoming week is going to be a crazy roller coaster. A lot of Fed speakers, a lot of data points. So looking at this upcoming week, you have starting off on Tuesday, you have PPI, CPI on Wednesday, as well as on Thursday, you have initial jobless claims. So that one is going to be a key one that a lot of the broader market looks at. You also have retail sales that same day. So a lot of consumer data. So it's going to be a crazy roller coaster. And even aside from that, you have a hell of a lot of Fed speakers. So that could be that nice push that SoundHound needs to get back into kind of where it was back in excess of $6. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Like I said, I think no matter what, it's all going to come down to the numbers. And over this last 2 weeks, it's just been very poor timing that the market's been extremely picky on every finite number. So it is what it is. But like I said, I think SoundHound did do a fairly good job, and that obviously caused a nice positive ripple effect for the foreseeable future. So let me know your thoughts. Give yourself a shout out if you bought, if you sold. What did you do with SoundHound? One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. And also on a side note, it was extended up until the end of August. So take advantage of that. Like I said, with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.